everyone. It is mid-March in Minnesota. If you're new to the channel, you're at Minnesota Home and Garden, and I'm Abby, and I am a master gardener and a realtor, and I love helping people grow, especially in their gardens. So it's mid-March, so you're a little late if you have not started your onions or your sweet potato slips, celery, or perennial flowers, but even if you're late, you can still get started now and probably be okay. Today we'll get some of those started. We'll also be doing broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and cauliflower. Another things you can consider starting now would be kale, parsley, peppers, any of your small seeded annual flowers, and any of your slow growing herbs. So today we're gonna do mostly peppers over here. We do a lot of common peppers like jalapenos and sweet bell peppers. I try to do a couple new ones every year. This year we're doing this new bell pepper called Sweet Chocolate from Seed Savers Exchange. We're also doing a Baker Creek pepper, Korean dark green. If you like kimchi, these are the peppers you'd like to grow. Okay, so let's get started. So in my seed cells here, I've got just an easy seed starting mix. That's all you need. Do not need to add any fertilizer or any other ingredients at this time. I pressed it in firmly and I left about 1/4 of an inch on top. I just find that to be a lot easier because the seed depth you want for almost all peppers is about 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just gently place the seeds I want on each cell, and then I'll just lightly cover the top with soil when I'm finished. Okay, let's get started. Okay, something I'd add is don't forget to label each one. Usually plant about 1 to 2 seeds in each cell. Not everything will 100% germinate, and if you have an extra, you can always split it down the road when you repot these. And when you repot them when they're tiny little seedlings, that's when you want to start adding very small diluted amounts of fertilizer. Don't add anything until that point. It's also important to water from the bottom only, until you bring them outside basically. So when they're seedlings and they're small like this, you can easily overwater them if you water from the top. So just fill the bottom cells with enough water to get absorbed, and if there's any excess, always pour it off. Next step will be to put it up on to a rack like this. You're gonna want some natural sunlight, but you're gonna need more light than that if you're in Minnesota. So we have some really easy LED shop lights, like you see right here. You can get these at Menards, Home Depot, Fleet Farm. These are very cost effective and they work just fine for plants. You do not have to buy expensive plant lights. These work just fine. You just want to make sure you keep these about 12 inches above your plants. Okay, let's get going to the next step. Hey guys, and we are back. So I'm all done getting my peppers planted here. What I did, just as a recap, is I just added the soil enough where there was about 1/4 of an inch at the surface, because that's what the seed packet recommended, 1/4 of an inch deep for planting. And then I just cover the top layer with an additional amount of soil. Now I find that to be the easiest way to go, especially if you're doing a huge tray like this. If you're doing just a few, you can just use something like this, which is a chopstick or similar apparatus, just to get the right depth and plant your seeds in there. I did plant a couple seeds in each cell. You will not have likely 100% germination, and if you do, you can always split them later. Again, we use just a simple seed starting mix. There's absolutely no reason to use potting soil or anything like that. No fertilizers yet at this time. Wait until the seedlings fully emerge and kind of fully leaf out. When you transplant them, that's when you're going to want to add some nutrients. Another important thing to remember is up here in Minnesota in the north, there's not enough daylight. So even in a Sunday window like behind me here, it's still not enough sun. So you're going to need an LED light of some sort, like what I have here that we got from Menards. You're going to need 16 hours of sunlight for almost all of your plants until it's ready to go outside. If you don't have a timer, make sure you set an alarm on your phone to turn it on and turn it off at night, you can actually burn your plants. Also make sure it's a reasonable distance from the plants, usually about 12 inches. You don't want it to get too close either. So here's our seed starting video. Again, we're up in the north. If you are in 4B or 5A, it's time to get your peppers and some of your herbs started, as well as your cold weather crops like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and cauliflower. And because we are doing our plants upstairs this year on the main level, I'm not going to be using a heat mat. You do not need a heat mat for any cold weather crops. Sometimes people like to use them for peppers and tomatoes, but it's not completely necessary. So if you're doing them on the main level of your home where it's relatively warm, I'd say go ahead and skip out on the mat. You don't need them. So here you are with a really basic setup. There's no reason to buy anything super special, and you can have a great garden this year. So get gardening. I'll show you when we're all done. So just remember to water from the bottom only. Just lightly mist on top if you feel like you need it. Do not want to overwater any of your seedlings. They can kind of rot from the bottom. So just be sure to check underneath every once in a while to make sure that all of the water you put in the bottom is absorbed after maybe about an hour or two of each watering. And if it is fully absorbed, good. Otherwise, just quickly drain that off into like your sink or something like that, because you don't want to overwater. Another tip I have is to run a fan on your plants, especially after they emerge, so they get stronger, they don't get too leggy, they will be a lot stronger plant and ready to go for the outdoors. So get your seeds going, Minnesota, and we'll see you out in the garden soon. Okay, and I forgot to add, but if you have a lot of seeds like me, you might want to pick up from Amazon one of these binders, and inside here are these awesome sleeves made just for seeds. My partner bought me this as a gift last year, and it was a godsend. If you have a lot of seeds and want to stay organized, get one of these binders. I will put some links in the comments for varieties we're growing, as well as these binders and these sleeves to help you stay organized.